Today, we go through some of the wildest encounters caught on police body cams. Fair warning, you might start to like cops a little bit more after watching this video. The Alligator Call. Cops got a call that a ferocious predator was roaming the streets. Turns out, it was an alligator. The cops tried poking it, but that only made the alligator angry. So, one brave man stood in the crowd and decided to put an end to the drama. He grabbed a cloth and went straight for the gator's mouth. The cops sat on the alligator until other officers plastered duct tape on its mouth. Once it was trapped, the wildlife officials were called to cater to this mess. The drowning child.
Grocery for I found he's in a pool.
A cop was in the neighborhood when he heard soft cries of a child. He was not ready for what he saw next. An autistic child was lying in the pool, unattended and almost drowning. The cop rushed to get the 3-year-old out of the pool. The kid survived, all thanks to the officer's quick thinking.
He's breathing, conscious. Go ahead, start me at 13.
The Karen and the homeless people.
What's going on down here? Okay, can you come up here and talk to me, please?
Cops were called to a scene to witness the most bizarre case on the planet.
You guys close, they're being combative down here. Alright, hang out right here for me.
This woman claimed that it was her husband's land. So, anyone who set foot on the land was an outsider who deserved to be torched. Yep, that's what happened. She lit up many things about the homeless people who were sleeping under the bridge.
And I had a blanket wall just like that side. And she set the mattresses on fire.
And it was hanging from this wire like this?
Yes, right here.
She even tried to light one of the homeless people on fire. When that didn't work, she called the cops. Turns out, she was calling them for her own arrest. Karen just didn't know that yet.
Hey, Miss Colby, can you come up here, up the hill for me, please? No, you're not going to come up the hill? All right, well, stand up for me.
No, ma'am, don't put your hands on me. Y'all don't put your hands on me. Look at how this man's doing me.
Stand up, put your
Look, you're
hands behind
using
your back.
excessive force.
You're under arrest, okay?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Put your other hand on your back, please.
But boy, it was too satisfying not to watch when she found out what was happening.
Y'all don't have the right to be digging in my pocket. That is my constitutional right.
You're under arrest.
They got their hands in my pockets and they're men.
Like and subscribe right now and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. The shocking arrest. This arrest is going to shock you. The cops were called to a school when a kid went out of control. What the kid was doing was nothing short of crazy. The teachers needed to hold safety pads because the kid kept kicking and punching them. The cops had waited for a long time for him to calm down, but nothing was working. So, they put the boy in handcuffs for nearly 13 minutes until he finally relaxed. That didn't sit well with the parents, though. They decided to sue the cops and the school. The medical emergency. A police officer received a report about a speeding car. He chased after the vehicle, but it refused to stop. The officer had no choice but to pull a pit maneuver on the car. But just as he did that, he regretted it immediately. The car had 2 teenage daughters and a mother who were on their way to the hospital for an emergency. The family couldn't afford an ambulance and had to resort to such crazy means to get to the hospital. The woman with the knife. Imagine coming face to face with a crazy lady and a big knife. It's not the best combination, is it? The officer had some good instincts, though. She dodged and kicked her straight into jail. Somebody let their intrusive thoughts win. While the police were busy dealing with an actual crime, their cameras recorded a dumb stunt. The guy drove off the ramp of the truck and surprisingly landed a divine jump. I don't know what happened to the driver, but it seems like he is never going to shut up about this.
At their last 250 rollover.
The bee attack. A volunteer police officer was out in the streets when a swarm of bees saw their next target. They ambushed him, and the officer gave up in a few seconds. He fell down about a dozen times because of the powerful bee stings. The man tried to race to the car, but he couldn't open the lock on the door. The poor guy was left fighting the battle alone for a long time until a beekeeper saw the chaotic scene on the news. He rushed towards the cop and saved him from a much more terrible ordeal. The unexpected road trip. These guys were on a family trip, but you'd expect a different kind. 3 dogs, a woman, and a male had just stolen a vehicle and were part of other despicable crimes. But the police had some serious beef with the guy. And well, you can see how they put an end to their road trip. The stunning report. Cops were surprised to find that a 9-year-old boy had called them to a house. They immediately thought of the worst, but the boy's statement only shocked them more. Apparently, the mother was a drug trafficker, and the boy had found the drugs on her nightstand. He didn't want his mom to be arrested, but he didn't have a choice. The mother had over 100 grams of meth. That's enough to put her in prison. The cops took her in and handed the crying boy over to his father. The turkey to the rescue. Imagine stopping a driver to give him a ticket, and an aggressive turkey pulls out of the corner. You won't believe it until you see it. The animal chased the officer and refused to let him give the ticket.
Here. You're not getting a ticket. We don't want you to get a ticket.
The cop was left laughing nervously at the turkey. He decided to let this one slide and hopped on his motorbike to flee the crazy scene. The patience of a saint.
I don't want no beef. I'm just trying to go home and enjoy myself. I'm trying to go home.
This scene might just be straight from a cartoon, because you won't see anything like it. The cop was chasing a woman who was on the run, on a suitcase. So, he grabbed a bicycle and sprinted after the lady. The unusual race didn't have a clear winner, but the woman was sneaky enough to dodge the cop. The officer could have easily overpowered her at any point. The woman eventually gave up on her childish antics and got arrested.
Stop spitting. Do not spit.
I only spit it one time.
Do not.
I only spit one time.
The hysterical Karen. The victim of domestic abuse called in the cops. When they asked Karen to step out of the vehicle, she started filming the cops.
What's your name?
Stay away from me.
Here's the deal. You can either come out of the car or I'm going to break out the window.
When that didn't work, the woman rammed on the gas and crashed into multiple police cars. The cops had no choice but to break that window. As soon as they did that, Karen fell to the ground, as if they were the ones abusing her. The goat chase. Cops were called to contain the 2 pesky goats running on the streets, but the cops had no clue that the animals would be sending them running all over the block. One goat managed to slip into the officer's hands, but the other refused to stay down. It ran in the field and dodged all the officers in the ambush. Soon enough, the cops surrounded the goat and lunged after it to grab the animal. They surely weren't planning on having the day turn out like this. The Piggy Run. Lo and behold, another ham in the crowd. They surely do get around a lot, don't they? This one gave the cops a run for a total of 45 minutes. Most of these cops were fresh out of the academy, Imagine this being your first assignment, and you need help getting your ham in the bucket. I think they were having too much fun with the pig. The unusual intruder. The cops raided a house with a whole cavalry, only to find the most naive intruder on the other side. Yes, a deer. The poor cops tried to lure the animal out of the house, but it wasn't easy. The deer and the cop were both equally scared to get close to one another. Eventually, it dashed out of the exit and fled the scene. The deer will have an exciting story to tell to his friends.
There we go.
The chaotic scenes at the airport. War broke out at the airport when an airline cancelled all of its flights for the day. Passengers started going berserk, and others joined in on the action simply for fun. The cops were called, but the situation didn't tone down even then. People were running around here and there, hurling abuses and pushing one another. The cops had no choice but to pull out the arrests. 3 people were arrested, and that brought the others back to their senses. The K-9's swift arrest.
7-17 showing southbound on Curson. Oh, TC involved.
A suspect kept fleeing the cops during the chase. So, the police decided to bring out the big weapons. They sent in the police dog after the suspect. You can imagine what happened next. The suspect was spotted fighting the K-9, who had no intentions to stop. He tried to throw the police dog off of him, but the police dog had a mission that he planned on fulfilling. The suspect was then taken into custody. Good luck fleeing now.
Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. On the ground. There you go. All the way down. Get on the ground. All the way down. Turn around. Turn around.
The crazy airplane lady.
I don't care if I'm ever fly with y'all ever again. I want to know what happens to this flight right here.
This lady right here is a viral sensation. You'd never guess why she got famous. This Karen wanted out of the plane and demanded every other passenger to do the same.
That flight's not going to make it to Orlando.
Let's go.
I'm going to.
Hey, this isn't the sorority, Karen. People have lives, and they were super glad to have you kicked out of the plane. But the woman was the queen of the dramatics club and started wailing loudly to get the plane to stop.
Can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give 2 f***s, but I am telling you right now, that back there is not real.
Okay, lady. Half the internet believed her, while the other half was trolling her on her petty arrest. The emu and the cops. This emu has yet to learn how important he is to the officers right now. The bird was seen waltzing around on the streets with a fleet of cop cars behind him. The chase pretty much looked like a dead end, but the emu has no plans of being taken out alive. So, it kept the police on the edges of their seats and causally roamed the streets, poking and prodding the trees. The cops, on the other hand, definitely didn't sign up for this. The Rock Alert. The Rock is many things, and funny seems to be one of them. When he was pulled into a security check, the guy claimed he had a lot of guns. What this grown man was trying to say was that he had a lot of muscles.
I got a lot of guns in this.
Okay.
These kind. It's always room for a cheesy joke, I know. You're welcome.
The wobbling DUI. This guy was pulled over for driving all over the road. The cops suspected a DUI, but not as bad as this one.
What are you doing? What? We've had our lights and sirens on since I-95, and you've taken this long to pull over.
He doesn't even look like he is in the same universe as us. Heck, he had to be wheeled out of the lot in a wheelchair.
We had our lights and sirens on behind you. You weren't stopping for us. So, like, what's going on?
I don't know what you say.
I can bet He doesn't even remember when he got into the car. The lad was arrested soon after. The dumb murderer. Spoiler alert, this guy is a murderer. But what he did was so dumb that he should be locked up in the clown jail. He called the cops because the restaurant served him cold fries. The man had an ankle monitor tied to his legs, and he still had the audacity to go on and complain about a messed up order to the cops. The cops ran a quick ID check and realized that he was a murder suspect on the run. It took them 2 seconds to connect the dots. Sadly, that's how long it took for the suspect too. The suspect fled the scene with the cops chasing after him. Eventually, he was caught. Now, he can complain about the prison meals all he wants to people who couldn't care less about it. The crazy Kevin. The police accidentally stumbled upon a 5-year-old driver. At least, that's what the guy looked like to the cops.
We're not going to argue about a $10 seatbelt ticket.
Hey, it's right here.
Okay, driver's license and insurance, okay?
I'm not giving you nothing. It's not.
Driver's license and insurance, sir. You're going to make this more difficult than it has to be.
The police stopped him because he didn't have his seatbelt on. But when the cops came to him, he hastily put it on and claimed that he had been wearing it all this time. As a former 5-year-old, I can relate to him. The cops knew better than to fall prey to his childish lies. They demanded his ID, and that's when the toddler in him peaked. The man started ripping his money apart and even threw his wallet at the front. The cops gave him a ticket and let him leave. But I bet that the petty man taped all that money when he got home.
Non-mandatory court date of August 11, 2022 at 2 p.m. at the Racine County Circuit
You
Court.
want
It's in
$10, I'll
downtown
give you
Racine.
$10.
We don't post bond here, all right? You have to pay on or before the court date. If you choose to pay, you pay online, in person, or by mail. Information on the bottom of the citation as well as on the bond envelope, which is self-explanatory.
The cocky impersonator.
Do you have any weapons in the car or anything like that? Like a gun or anything like that?
I don't even have a gun. Okay. I'm 19 years old. I ain't gonna cause. If this is gonna cause problems, then the truck's over there.
Believe it or not, this guy is a 19-year-old, and he is pretty serious about becoming a cop. It isn't like he wrote an essay and bought a costume from a local shop. No. The man put in the money to buy full police gear, complete with a vest, knives, and a duty belt.
You realize wearing the sheriff on your chest is basically impersonating law enforcement, whether or not you're carrying a gun. Okay, but are you commissioned to be carrying a gun and do you have arrest powers?
He was living in a delusional reality, roaming around the streets, pretending to be a cop. What ticked off the cops was the fact that he had more than 5 pairs of handcuffs. He could have easily targeted any child and lured them with fear. The scary thing is that he didn't show any guilt on his face. Heck, the kid thought that he was being offered the front seat when he was arrested. Can you believe him? The creepy critters and the coat. This guy looks quite innocent, but wait till you get to know him a little. He was stopped by the cops for DUI when the man decided to play a prank on the female cop. As she was searching for him and his coat, a lizard popped out of nowhere. The cop did not expect that at all. Yep, a firearm doesn't scare her, but a creepy critter will, folks. The poor lizard ran away, though. The ham and the cops.
I don't know who it is. I'm trying to keep it from.
This clip is when a pig decided to go berserk on the cops. It ran on all 4s, ducking and dodging the grip of the cops. It even rammed into a couple of people, sending them to the ground. The cops spent hours trying to catch that pig and even joked about hams chasing ham. The couple of clowns. The clown frenzy was a pretty horrid time, but it wasn't as bizarre as the lengths people were willing to go. This couple right here is standing still, dressed as clowns, in the wee hours of the night to scare drivers. Too bad the next set of drivers turned out to be cops. The family drama. If you want a bit of gossip, this is the tea you need. This woman right here claimed that her ex-husband had pushed her. The estranged couple was going to the Bahamas with the kids, but the husband refused to take her with him at the last minute. He claimed that his ex-wife had plans to meet with her boyfriend. Hearing the petty drama, the police left the scene, but they had no clue that there was more to the story to come. 5 days later, the same woman was arrested because she had been sending texts to her boyfriend, plotting to murder her ex-husband. Plot twist. She claimed that she was just venting, but the cops didn't see it that way. Do you agree with her? The wrong white sedan. A cop was trying to track down all the cars that were running beyond 100 miles per hour. He had spotted a car that was on the violation and was now chasing the vehicle. But just as he tried to stop the vehicle, he realized that it was the wrong car. The addict hiding drugs. This guy was trying to act smart, but the cops were way ahead of him.
Do you have your car here?
Nah, I'm just looking at this car to see if I could buy it, you know?
All right.
If the car
You weren't using heroin though?
Nah, you could look at my eyes, you know? You could see when a person just finished shooting.
Oh, I know.
The sneaky drug addict was hiding a bag of heroin in his mouth. When the cops found the tiny bag, they knew he had more to show than this small find. They were right. When they searched him, they found around 20 bags of crack hidden in his socks and shoes. The man was pumped up on drugs, but the cops busted him before he could sell it to anyone. The crazy lurker on the streets.
Where you headed? To the terrace? All right, were you walking in the road by any chance?
Yeah.
You were walking in the road?
Well, not directly.
All right, just kind of walking in and out.
This woman was found walking on the wrong side of the road. When the cops found her, she didn't look as if she was in the right state. You'd think a person like that would just oblige with the orders. But no, how could she? The woman was Karen. Can you guess what her problem was? She didn't want to sit in the back of the police car, where there was a divider. She had no clue she was being arrested, did she?
Listen, Andrea.
No.
Come here.
No, I can't do bars, please.
Okay. Then we're gonna call you a rescue. Come here. Stay right here.
You cannot hold me.
Unfortunately we can't, all right? We have to make the decision for you because you're not making it for yourself.
The dumb Karen was then forced into the car by the cops to tone down a bit of the crazy. The messy neighbor.
What's up, man? All right, take it easy.
Why don't you put your phone on the tailgate for me?
This guy was as drunk as he could get. So he started hurling abuses at his neighbor. The war between the neighbors didn't last long because cops barged in on the scene in the middle. They tried to get a hold of the situation, but it was plain petty. So the old man was left with a warning. The problem was that this had been happening for over a year and a half. Still, the cop decided to let him go just this last time. The tough guy. You see this tough guy right here? He thought he could take on armed cops that had him surrounded. He hopped out of the window and took off his shirt. But he didn't stop there. No. The man wasted no time in flexing his muscles. He even went ahead and did push-ups to try to intimidate the cops. When that didn't work, he decided to hurl abuses at the officers and even threatened them. Obviously, that didn't pan out as well as he had intended. All his fake tough performances went downhill when he was arrested.
Chris. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. You gonna shoot me? I got no weapons. Chris. What else you want to see? You want to see the slog? Chris. Want to see the shin slog, dude? Oh, you real? Chris. You guys think you're hard? Chris. Navy SEALs are hard. So why does it take so many of you guys?
Because you're amped
Because
up?
you're amped up.
No, I'm not
We're
amped
good.
up.
We're
Okay,
safe.
leave me alone, please. We're not here to hurt you, bud.
Battle for the knives. This guy had a few kitchen knives handy and was open to using them. The cops knew better than to engage with him. So, they tried the non-lethal approach. The man standing at the other end saw the fleet of cops and knew he was done for. It was just a matter of when. Soon enough, the cops ambushed the guy and brought him down. They snatched the knives away from him. But this guy had the audacity to ask what he had done. We will let the court tell you that, weirdo. The two male Karens. This guy was reportedly driving around in a van talking to young kids. One of the kids snitched on him, and he couldn't believe it. Him and his friend kept lying right out of their mouths about how they didn't commit a single crime. The two even shared a look that made the cops suspicious. But the fact that they were acting like a bunch of Karens tipped the cops off. They were taken into custody and sent to jail. The young man's tough act.
What car you in?
I ain't in any of these
Let's
cars.
go. Then you got to get out. Let's go.
Nah, I don't got to go nowhere.
You live here?
I don't got. Yeah, I live here. You don't got.
Okay, what's
what
your
you
address?
walking up on me like that for? What's up?
This young man was trying to act tough in front of a cop. You can imagine how that went down. With a single shove, the cop had him down on the ground and restrained. The poor guy didn't even get the chance to fight back. If only he had the brain for it. He may need to go back to school to get a lesson or two more in ethics, because he surely isn't going to get any in jail. Karen, who tried to bite. This is probably the angriest 12-year-old you'll see, except that she is a grown woman with kids. The woman was accused of domestic violence and had a warrant for arrest on her. The cops came to the scene and instantly knew it wasn't going to be an easy case. Karen refused to admit that she was wrong and did not want to cooperate. The cops somehow tried to shove her in the back seat of the police car. She was arrested and sent to jail. The Karen who made it worse. This woman, involved in a hit and run, was given many chances to provide her credentials. But like any other Karen on the street, she refused to admit that she was wrong. Even with the entitlement on her face, the cops treated her with a lot more patience than anyone could have given her. But Karen, being a Karen, abused that leniency. She started hurling abuses and creating more drama than necessary. All in all, she made matters much worse for herself. Instead of a 5-minute stay at the county jail, she punched in a 2-month time in jail. That ought to teach her. That's all, folks. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you on board with us. Which of these clips had the craziest scene going on? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.